Hello everybody. It's been a while since my last official video and since I've done a video on the layout. Matter of fact, what's happened to the old layout, or is what I'm going to now say what you see right in front of you, is the new layout. Over the last year or so, we've been building this layout and we haven't been running as much on the old layout just because we've been working nearly every weekend or so on it. But here's what's gotten done, and here's kind of a sneak peek at it in the construction process, because a lot of people like to see how the construction's built on some layouts. So as you can tell, for nearly all of our lathes and supports, it's 4x4s to help with that, and there's a bunch of screws in them to help support the 4x4s. So what we'll do is I'll start off a little bit of where we are right now, or I'll just go to the start. So then, well, you got right here, which goes down and around towards the big window, and this way, which kind of goes into the layout, and that way goes down the stairway into the lower room. But there's a closet right there, right in this area, so we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get covered up, and there's gonna be something there I'll explain later on in the video. But as you come this way, you can see the toll train, an ORDOC, and a TV we got here. But with this ORDOC here is right now we kind of have to refix it up because some parts weren't put together right on it. So you can kind of tell, like here, and some of these are crooked, but that's no big deal. It's for another video. I'll be doing a roster tour. But right here is supposed to be Two Harbors, Minnesota. Many people know that as the former DMNIR, now CN, and they ran SD45 T2s, which are reclassified as SD40 or SD40-3s. So they're just the old 45 T2 car body. Then this one was in the Highland head-on from that one, and then there's your standard trio of Dash 8s. Then you have the 904 and a couple others range power. These guys are not range power. These are some of my other models I've done. But that's kind of what's going on down here. This is Two Harbors Yard. Then you come up here and you got Duluth, Minnesota. So this is supposed to be over towards the port, or the port of Duluth, or what is it called? Rice's Point. Excuse me, I'm not thinking of that, but it's supposed to be that, and this is kind of meant to be the depot right there in the back. It's not really prototypical to where it is, but then that's your main track back there that's supposed to go down to the lakefront line, the old DMNIR, and if we want to continue it, it just goes this way. So that's kind of the reason why we put it there. Then that's, also for that, we got our unique kind of dump power situation there, and continuous running. So then you kind of got, that's supposed to be the North Star, not North Star, the train that runs between Duluth and the cities that they stopped. That was going to happen, and they canceled it. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but if you look into it, you definitely can figure out why they did it. So it's supposed to be a cement facility over in Duluth. Come over, you got more Boxcars facilities and all that. This will be served by a Soo Line Jeep and Canadian Pacific Jeep, maybe even the Soo Line Bandit. But what you may see back there is some limestone cars. Since we technically we're doing the Iron Range sub and not the Mesabi sub or Proctor Hill, we don't really have a spot to run limestone, but we have a limestone train. So we figured, let's put in an area back there. Let's put it kind of as a hidden staging for the limestone train. So what happened then is it'll come across the bridge of to go to Superior, and this is Superior Yard, 28th Street. But let's continue over here first. So this is the south end of the yard, I think it is. I don't know. UCN folks and Iron Range people, or Mesabi modelers probably know more specific. But we got some ballast cars, including a Veterans Association car, which is not mine. We also have new plug system, which we never had before. We've only had kind of just your standard little phone jack cable that ran. So far we got 2 taconite trains that are running efficiently. This is supposed to be our dump bucket. This is our stub. You got a bunch of switches in there, which is pretty realistic from the real thing, thanks to a buddy, a friend on CN. Then this is the Louisiana Pacific. They get center beams, and they are actually on the steep end of the hill. I believe it's a 2%, 2.5%. I'm not sure specifically, but I know it's somewhere around that. So they will get center beams and all that, and that'll be a switch out for the Murph job that will happen. Come up, you got Wales, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Waldo, not Wales. Waldo, where they'll do where they switch over, where the ore trains will come down, all the southbound trains, and then this is where all the northbounders go, or come up and depart, reversing loop. We had to tweak it, so we're still having some issues, but anyway, we got some extra grain cars here at the moment that we've kind of went on a little bit of a spree of getting grain hoppers. UPS store, or UPS facility, Duluth Bridge, coming across. In Superior, you got the Diamond. There's actually quite a bit in the BNSF yard. And it kind of goes back. This is supposed to be a plastics facility, if I'm not mistaken. And sorry about the little bit of a mess here. This is where we've just kind of done temporary work on cars and all that fun stuff. So then this is the Canadian Pacific Soo Line grain train. We're now trying putting in a grain elevator. But right here you can see we got 4 staging tracks. We got 4 staging tracks, or 3 staging and a big runaround. Which what the CP grain train is on, or Soo Line, is on the runaround, or the toll runner. So that's what the toll runner is. It's a thing that just goes around the yard. It's just a long track. And they just go straight to the Midwest Energy facility in Superior. Then back there we got the grain train, the BNSF grain, and the BNSF All Rail, which is currently still getting some work done, or well, we're waiting for more track to get done. But we kind of got the yard pretty big. It's way bigger compared to our last layout. And then another thing is, right in here, there's gonna be 3 tracks, and we're gonna have the little shop. That's about it. It's just gonna be locomotive pad and all that. Nothing too crazy. And those of you wondering about that number board, it's from Baltimore and Ohio F7. I even have the, what do you want to call it, the speedometer. I got it from a coworker. Very unique piece of history. This is one of them old big blocks. Speedometers, not the Transcore. Now this is Wales, I'm pretty sure, unless I have them too mixed up. But it'll probably be a better building, but we just put these here temporarily. So it comes around, and then you have 3 tracks, main, a runaround, and then the storage. This is supposed to go off to North Shore Mining, which is a pretty cool railroad. I've done a bunch of rail fanning there of late, and they got a bunch of cool stuff. But they're so far out in the middle of nowhere. So you continue on, it runs behind. We're going to cover this up with a big hillside, kind of keep it well hidden. And hidden, then there will be lights underneath all that, and there's our wiring for the yard. And then I'll show you the wiring under here and woodwork. As you can tell, nothing too crazy, but just an idea for those who are looking to start their layout. Here's that Soo Line Jeep, which is not mine again. We have a caboose, a shoving platform of just a bunch of random MOW cars, a BNSF baggage car. And then we have our yard power, which has an RCL Jeep. And then another Jeep that's kind of matched with it. Then we have the Realistic Rapids Power, which is 1943 and 1833. Which right now we are having power issues. We believe it's because of this old thing. So our locomotives are having a lot of issues getting power. They like to short out a lot, or not really short, just kind of die or stutter a lot. So I mean, we got this system and then our wireless system. That's an old box. And continuing on down here, this is supposed to be Fairbanks, which they have a rip track or a stub, and then there's a detector. So we're hoping to put in a file that'll play a detector once we get more closer to that. Backing up here, we have a pretty cool BNSF SD60M and BNSF SC75M, which got patched and worked. You guys may recognize it from my other videos, but this one got redone. This guy back here is stuck on the all rail, and you may also notice we have some UP power now. We're hoping to put in an Itassi yard, which will receive a mix of trains, including an old UP all rail that used to come up here, but they don't do that anymore. Excuse me. So then we got a Dash 9 that's just sitting here first temporarily. Another look at the yard for all y'all. Then here's coming down the toll runner right here. You can either go left and kind of continue on to the yard lead, or hop off here, kind of make our way around. So I'll go backwards from here, but this is supposed to be Deer River, north of Grand Rapids. I don't have the lights on in the closet, but I'll kind of show what's back here. So this is kind of meant to be a small siding. You're not going to really fit much for an ore train back here. It's just going to be like a MRF meeting and maybe pellet reclaim train, because we're going to be running those and BFTs. So here's coming out of the closet. We got 4 tracks. This is supposed to be storage. We're going to put the coal train. Another kind of secondary main coming off that back there. Another storage, you could say. And then your switching lead at the way back. Which, another thing back here that's pretty cool is this. This is supposed to represent Superior, which will have like, I can't remember. It's an elevator, and then they have a cement plant and spacing on it. But that's kind of the area at the moment, and there's that downstairs area. So eventually we're going to cover that up, get all that work done. But still work here yet, all in here. We got a bunch of crossovers and switching to wherever you need to get to. Poor Burlington car. Then we got the UP all rail at the moment, just kind of sitting here, because we want to get some trains out, do some running and tests. Because that's what you want to do early in the layout stage, is run tests. Here's a good look at the layout from above. And we are going to do a third level only in this upper area here. We're not going to do it way over there behind all that. It's just, we want to keep these windows open, you know. Natural light is the best here. So then coming back this way for CN or Mesabi, we did a hidden storage track, just so we can, because there's so many taconite cars, as you can tell. We got 2 quads there, and then a bunch of the modern low sides that are run on BFTs and pellet reclaims, which those all started getting scrapped a little bit ago. I know this is supposed to be Aurora at the moment. Then we're gonna try to put the A&W somewhere in here, because that's a very key thing. Continuing on, we eventually come to Biwabik. So this is a pretty huge part of the layout for CN-wise and Mesabi. Got the bridge that will go above here on both ends. This is supposed to represent the north end, I think. Not sure, am I north and south for these trains? But they have a roundhouse still there. There's not track running there anymore, but they used to, or track running into the building, but the track's still there, and they use it for maintenance equipment and ballast work and just that sort of stuff there. So then right here we got 2 SD9s that are not mine, caboose, track cleaning cars, because we've been running that, and then a bunch of tie cars, bow ties, and some 2 custom trucks that I got for a pretty sweet deal online. But I kind of missed up here. So this is, once again, just another kind of just double main line up till Carlton. That's what's down there. This is supposed to be your switch off for the storage. As you can tell, it runs down. Deer River again here. which will have some Boxcars and all that. So it's not like you're completely not having some fun here. Then once you get back here, back to Biwabit, this is Chemstar. They serve plastics here in Carlton. I've done a couple videos there. Some of you may notice it from photos and videos I've taken. They have a maintenance track here too. So pretty cool. We try to have it realistic, so we'll eventually get some of that. But there's looking down the Carlton main line and siding. Pretty big siding. I think it's a 10,000 or 12,000 foot siding. Then this switch right here is meant to represent going down the Brainerd sub. There will not actually be a Brainerd sub, but we will have the track be there, and we may put a 1 yard track, because there is some yard tracks there right off it for maintenance or set outs or bad orders. And this is that bridge there that's pretty well known. Continuing on, we are going to have another bridge that's kind of just set down at the moment, but then that's okay. Here's the other end of Biwabit. We have more of your storage cars, which there are some there at the moment, though they are not Mesabi, but Bestware and Lake Erie ore cars. I'm not sure what type they are. I think they're I want to say Bethdowns, but I don't think they are. Here's the other bridge end. Continuing on that, you go around. This is supposed to represent Saunders here for BNSF. So another main, and then this will be your, there's a little another siding there. It's or should I say just a set out track for Saunders. That for the Kelly Lake. Just looking back at Proctor. Come back this way. Then here's the back side of Cloquet Sappy. So you're not going to see that. This will all get covered up with the backdrop here. But also a pretty cool thing about Saunders is with that switch right there, that's going to be your switch off to the Casco sub, which goes down and connects to Kelly Lake, which Kelly Lake is Hibbing, and Hibbing connects to the CN. And that Hibbing runs to Keenan, and that's the Keenan sub. I'm really space on that, holy. But that's what that looks like. And so then continuing, that will all be hidden, but there will be some bridges in here, which will be really cool. So this, on the CN Iron Range sub, you're now coming up on Iron Junction. This will be your branch off to Keenan. Right now we're not focused on that, just because we're trying to get a bunch of issues figured out, which we have done that. So Keenan should be starting soon. Continuing, so then you got 2 loaders for Mintac. This is going to be Mintac. I mean, 2 switches, you can tell, to go right to Keenan. So then there is a train out there. There's still a Mesabi train, if I'm not mistaken. So got this pretty cool also in that deal, those 2 Mesabi trucks. But Mintac has 2 loaders. So then that will go around. They loop. We have the reverse loop. There's the reverser, another plug. Show y'all another kind of under construction thing. We just kind of have a bunch of garbage under here at the moment. We'll have to get cleaned out. I've done these. These are super nice. These splicers, tap splices. They're super good for when you're just wanting to patch a bunch of stuff off, and then you can run it, so you don't have to cut wire and then try to patch it all together and hope it works. Which these twist ties I haven't had issues with. They've been pretty good. We haven't had much issues. It's just the track power. Then up here we got the end of Saunders. I'm not sure what you want to. I think south end of Saunders. I'm pretty sure I know BNSF well. So they do have cement ties for the main and the siding. That is how it is in real life too. Is the main runs off to the right, while the siding's on the left. The switch is not really that accurate, but kind of have to do what you gotta do to make the layout work, right? This is the back side of USG here. As you can tell, this is just still you haven't worked on. There's still a bunch of it. We're probably gonna only get 1 track in, just because of track wise, whatever you want to call it, the space wise. But in real life, you can't even get a switcher back there. You have to have a trackmobile. So they have a trackmobile back there that switches in a bunch of these old Pullmans and Gunderson hoppers for, I don't know, lime. I'm not sure what they got. I want to say limestone, but so then you'll have a small yard and then a small lead. If you go on maps, you can actually see that. So then coming around for both sides of the layout here, then this runs off for your limestone. That's where that limestone train's gonna come from, Duluth. Come in here, dump, run around, and then leave and head back. The limestone is gonna have quite a run. But coming back up here, this is supposed to be the Northeastern Diner. Pretty similar looking building, but not that accurate. This is supposed to go back to Cloutier Terminal's home area. Then up here, you got your main switches, and you got your small little Cloutier yard, which is way bigger in real life. They have a huge yard. So you got 3 tracks. You mainly need 2 for a runaround because you need to get to your other end. Then here's your BNSF yard right in the front. So BNSF Rapids turn, drops off cars in the far back here. And then they come and pick up from down there when they return back from Grand Rapids, which I'll get to that in a few moments of Grand Rapids. We're using this yellow switcher for Grand Rapids. Perfect little switcher. You know, it's in their number range, which works out nice. You know, it's not, they don't have an NW2. They only have a MP15 SW 1500, I think. But another look at back here. Coming over towards Sappy. We may repaint the buildings, we're not sure yet. Yeah, I'll get up here and show you guys what this is looking like. This is more of a carryover car from previous layouts. So then right here you got 2 Botscar tracks, so you have 3 and 2, and we're gonna have uncoupling mechanisms in there. I think there's one in the left one there. Yep. So all you have to do is shove the car in, and then you just pull out, which is a pretty nice system. More Botscars. This one fits about, we're having, oh, no, I'm gonna have to dig that out. Pretty sure that's about 3 cars. 4 tank cars in here. Then this is your switching lead for when they come back, because they'll grab out of there. They grab out of that very close track to the switcher, pull it out and pull that, and then they shove right back into their yard. So they work it, and then that's kind of the end for BNSF. But up here, this is your BNS or Grand Rapids area. So then, but I gotta get caught up on the CN level. So this will be Keenan, where there will be a bunch of tracks running around this whole thing. This is where the limestone train will go, and all rails will come to meet. All that will just get, and it'll get dispatched to run to there, besides Murph picking up and dropping stuff off. Now up here in Grand Rapids, we got the depot, which still has its signal there in real life, which is also cool, which is why we haven't ripped that out yet. But this is some of the area up here, Grand Rapids, roster sheet, and cars list. So this is, we're still finishing up Grand Rapids yet, but here's your drop-off tracks, or yard tracks, and your feed mill, which will take boxcars and whatever you want to call that, Cinder tolls, feed mill cars. Then that switch right there will run back into the facility, which will load boxcars and unload tank cars. So, or unload both. I'm not sure for Grand Rapids wise, but that is. Then this is continuing on of the Keenan sub. Not too sure what we're gonna do yet for it. Just prefer to kind of get done. You see this here, which is where kind of our design of how trains are gonna get down. It's kind of, we're still in the works yet, so it's rough. So don't try to take that on your mark as we did. But that's just kind of our Keenan sub. It will get worked out. We're tweaking it at the moment. Departing Grand Rapids, you go under here. There will be a bridge, as you can see by this switch right here. It'll come off, and there will be a bridge to go up and off to the Hinckley sub, which is realistic. There's a bridge kind of leaving off, kind of south of the line a little bit. Then this is just where that goes, and it goes back over there. And then once this gets Keenan sub gets caught, we're gonna figure out how to hook up the BNSF or the Casco, you can say, into Kelly Lake, which this is what will Hibbing be. So then we're gonna put that all in here. We're probably gonna punch some holes through the wall, and there will be, I think it's, yeah, Hib tack. Why would I say key tack? But Hib tack, and we'll load all rails there for the BNSF, all rails and or trains when somebody mates the cars. There will be Kelly Lake Yard, so there will be your Bentonite income for the Kelly Lake Local and Limestone too. We're going to try to have a Y coming off here so you can easily just go straight down there instead of having to come in and then shove kind of all the way back there because there is a Y at Kelly Lake. But yes, that is the current layout situation. I'm going to do a roster tour in a bit, but right now I have short storage on my phone. So right now I'm probably going to go ahead and try to upload this one, and I'll make the other one.